to the Senior Hour, which is sponsored by Comfort Keepers in-Home Care and Advanced Audiology. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host,
Dr. Jean Dorio.
On your hometown station, KHTS. This is a show for, about, and by seniors, giving information to enhance one's quality of life. And our first guest this morning is Arif Halaby of Total Financial Solutions. How are you, sir?
I am great, thank you. Thanks
Good.
for having me.
Good. And later in the hour, we will be speaking with Kim Wahl, an alternative medicine advocate. And let's get to Arif.
So, hey guys, we are seeing a trend. I don't know what it is. I thought I'd bring it to your attention because in the financial world, there seems to be trends that are happening every once in a while. And this particular one is a bit disturbing because it seems to be going after seniors, and I don't know why. This is their
Because
motive.
that's the easiest group to go to.
It seems that way, huh?
Yes.
So here's what they're doing, and here's what it's all about. So a lot of people will take their retirement accounts and thinking about income, right? Mm-hmm. When you are working, when you are your food, shelter, clothing is built around your assets being there off to the side, but your income, your job pays for your lifestyle.
Well, that's true.
When you are retired, you start shifting your income from your work to pulling money out of your retirement account.
Right.
But here's the challenge that I'm finding. People are paying enormous amounts of fees just to get some level of income that they could get without having to pay those fees. So let me give you a good example. This particular client, this was 1010. What was that, yesterday?
Yes.
There it is, yesterday. 1010. She manages her mother's estate. As we get older, right, people manage your parents' estate. Here's what it was. Her mom's estate had $305,000 in it. It's a lot of money, but she's worked her whole life. This particular account has $305,000. It's with a reputable broker, so you're thinking, well, you know, it's got a big name. They do commercials on TV. It has to be probably reasonable, right? Whatever the broker is saying. So here's what we had. $305,000. They've had this account since 2013, so 4.5 years. In 4.5 years, this account has grown from $270 to $305. Okay, $35,000.
Okay.
The fees during that period of time have been just under $41,000.
What?
$41,000 in fees.
So you're not making anything and you're paying out. Wow.
Well, basically what you're doing is you're making a dollar, one for me, one for you, one for me, one for you, one for me, two for you, one for me, one for you.
How can they justify that?
Yeah. So here's what they're saying. They're saying, well, look, don't worry because, ma'am, when you get to whatever age you want to turn this income on, we will give you income for the rest of your life. We will guarantee that income, and it's going to be, in this case, $18,000 a year.
What?
Yeah, so we say, okay, well, $18,000 a year, let's carry the one, divide by. By the time you're done with this, you have to live, in her particular case, she has to live well into her 90s before it even financially makes sense that, oh, I guess I am using the house's money finally. And that is the change. That's the challenge, is that a lot of these accounts are getting to the place where the brokers are making the decisions that the higher fee accounts are the ones to be accepting and collecting.
And this is all legal.
Completely legal. These people have more money than you and I put together. So their lobbying efforts, their commercials on TV, they have soft music with old people with shiny white straight teeth, and they're walking on a dock out in some lake. And the sun is just setting properly, and the grandchildren come up, and they're all beautiful grandchildren with the big hugs, and you can't help but think this product must be right for you.
But it's a white-collar con.
It seems that way. It seems that
way.
way.
But when you say seems, I mean, you have the paperwork in front of you, and it's there. This is what's happening. I mean, others, the brokers will come in and say this is very legitimate.
Yeah.
But the numbers, when you get down to the final column,
it doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
I agree.
Not for the person. It's like me taking care of my patients. It's not to the benefit of my patients.
Yes, I would be in that column. They would argue and say, well, you don't understand. This is income insurance. Okay. every point that they would have, I would counter with, but can we get it in a less expensive manner? And if the answer is yes, then why are we choosing the more expensive manner? Right? Do you see the difference?
Mm-hmm.
So my goal for the client is to make sure you're not doing things for the wrong reasons, meaning the reasons are nice, but they're wrong because they benefit the broker and not you.
Mm-hmm.
Here's another.
And that's what you point out to your clients.
For sure. Yeah, we sit down and we say, look, and look, it's not me ever doing this. We have a worksheet. You know, you can't see here, but I have the worksheet in front of me. The worksheets will tell you. Mm-hmm. It's not me saying this client is paying this much, and it's the company, the client's own company on the phone, and we ask, how much are these fees? How much are these fees? How much is this? And let me tell you, sometimes we find accounts, and I say, you know what, this is a pretty darn good account. I wouldn't make any changes. Mm-hmm. I like it. I would stay right where you are. They really? I said, yeah, this is, you can't get this right now. The way interest rates are, stay with it. We've had to do that.
So how often is it that happens, would you say?
Oh, probably
5% of the time, 95% of the
probably
time?
10%.
10%?
Yeah.
So 90% it's the opposite?
90% it's not what they want or thought they had.
90% for the worst.
That's correct.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I would say it's probably close to that. Here's something interesting, and I wanted to make sure I got this on this half hour of the show because we just uncovered it last week, since the last time we were on. In our industry, we are regulated and ruled by numerous, depending on where your licenses are and what products you offer, numerous agencies, depending on which one it is. One of the agencies is the Department of Insurance, right? The Department of Insurance, if you're doing any kind of financial product that involves annuities, variable annuity, fixed indexed annuity, the Department of Insurance is the place to go to check out us, the agents, brokers, whatever term they're using, to make sure that what they're saying and doing is proper, number one. And number two is that we're licensed to do it, of course, but also that we don't have a history of complaints and problems. So here's what happened. July, it was brought to my attention. I said, okay, so let's research it. Well, we uncovered it in the last couple weeks. There's a particular broker who was suspended for 5 years. Okay, people make mistakes. If you're in business for 15 minutes in California, you're going to get sued. I got it. But when we looked at the pleading, which means I think it was 70 plus pages long, you can go through page by page.
On the site of the Department of Insurance.
Yes. And what this particular person did, we'll just call him Greg, what this person did is he would go in to seniors and initially, so you would do an application, you'd sign everything, everything's great, fine. And then next year, he would white out the date and put in the new date. So instead of 2015, it'd be 2016. 2016, it'd be 17.
Oh, my
right?
goodness.
And he'd submit the paperwork again, and it would initiate a transfer.
With the signature on it.
That's right. Initiate a transfer. Of course, guess who gets paid again? He forged countless documents. I think I counted somewhere around 10 plus clients. Companies, AAA rated national companies, went after him and fined him, fired him, did all sorts of things.
Put him in jail?
No. And in July, his 5-year suspension was up. And guess who's out there peddling the same thing?
Doing exactly what he did before.
Yeah, well, we'll see if he gets caught this time. I don't know. But
is there a Yelp for this? I mean, can you get some stars or no stars?
That would be interesting to do. I wonder if we can. I never thought about that in our industry, but yeah. So where I'm going with this is, they may talk a good game. That's wonderful. I want you to double check. I want you to verify. How you're going to do that is the California Department of Insurance website. You click on the name search, or if you know the name, or the license number, if you know the license number. And if you take a look at any of my literature, my business cards, our website, we have our name and license number everywhere because you have to. That's legally what we're required to do. So you can just type in that license number and scroll down. You'll take a look. It'll say enforcement action, or it will say right on page 1, issues or enforcement issues, enforcement action. And that's when the Department of Insurance investigators got involved. This particular person, the investigation went on for quite some time. They were very thorough. I was impressed. But from 2012 till 2017, it seemed like 10 minutes after his license was reinstated and wasn't restricted anymore, off he goes. So just double check. Make sure it's the right person doing the right thing. I'm all for forgiveness. I'm all for redemption. I'm not saying that. But just be careful. Sometimes you lose your one chance, right?
But sometimes, Arif, people have a track record, and you can look it up with the California Department of Insurance. But some people don't have a track record. This guy went on for years doing it, and who's to say that there aren't other people doing the same thing right now?
I'm
So
with you.
the only way is to get that worksheet, isn't it? It's really
I think
to
so.
sit down and verify and make sure that you legitimize what's going on. In his case, that was fraud. But in other ways, there's they can be making money, but the fees and everything associated with your accounts are going to be way too high. And you might not recognize that by looking at the immediate numbers and not looking at the long-term numbers.
And that's what we say is you are going to be paying fees. Okay, fine. Is it worth it? If I am paying $1 and I'm getting back $5, I'll do that deal. If you're my agent or broker and you're going to make me $10,000 this year and I pay you $1,000, I think that's fair.
That's,
I would do that.
absolutely.
But don't lose my money and charge me a fee. Don't make the same amount that I'm making. I'm the one that worked for it. In fact, it was kind of interesting. In one particular case, the broker was in elementary school when the lady was earning this money.
Oh.
And then he comes and says he's going to make you rich. I'm like, oh my goodness. If he can make you rich, why isn't he making himself rich?
But he is.
Well,
on your money.
apparently.
Yes.
The goal is to maintain, it's to grow your wealth steady, it's to not get into a position to where you are in unfair risk. Right? Don't make sure you are not in a risk position, because I do not want you to. Now, you might say, I'm willing to take risk. We had a client earlier today. Hey, I want to take risk with this much. Great, you do that. What do you want safe? Oh, I want this much safe. Great, now we know. Because some people have that ability, the desire, or that need to take some risk. Wonderful. You can
Roll
do
the
that.
dice if you want. You know.
There's a protection component, and that's our specialty.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, I'm glad we have our investments with you.
Oh. Thanks. Very transparent. We do it. It's just the way it goes.
And you're on the alert for any hanky-panky that's going on.
Yes, ma'am.
You will protect our money
All day
and our
long.
investment. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm so glad we went with you.
Thank you. Yeah. One day, if you ever want me to share that worksheet that we had on you, I don't mind doing that.
Uh-oh.
Well,
We
you
saved
can
her-
if you want to.
Well, we saved her a whole boatload of money. Let's just put it that way. And it's fun because, look, it's nice to say, oh, here, I'll give you a good example. We had a client that has about $700,000, lots of money. Okay, lots of money, 700, I think. And I said, what happens if 700,000 grows to $1 million in the next year? I said, what are you going to do different? He said, well, not much. I probably would feel better. I'd feel more comfortable. Okay. I'd probably would you fly around on private jets? Would you buy a Ferrari? Do anything? No. We'd probably go out to dinner once or twice more per week. Okay, great.
Easy come, easy go
Yeah.
is recognized.
That's right. I said, now what if your $700,000 goes down to $300,000?
There you go.
So now you've lost half or so. Now what happens? You're not going to fly around in private jets going forward if it was more. You said you would feel better, so you must feel worse. So if your risk in feeling, now you're not going to go out to dinner 1 or 2 extra times per week. You may not go out to dinner at all per month
Yeah.
because your assets have declined by 50%. We have seen that not once, but we have seen that twice in the last 15 years. And last night I was doing research for an article. Since 1950, the stock market has had a 20% or more decline 57 times.
Really? 57?
I know. Isn't that incredible? I didn't realize that.
Wow.
So, okay, it's gone back up. Wonderful. But what if I needed to eat dinner during that time? What if I needed to pay my electric bill during that time? And oh, it's gone back up. Great. And what if I needed to? So, if I'm food, shelter, clothing is coming from my job, I'm all right with the market doing a roller coaster thing because I can still eat dinner tomorrow unless I get laid off or something. But if as I get a little older, my income, my monthly income, my growth and my wealth is now contingent upon the market. I can't go to the electric company and say, hey, by the way, we just had a 20% decline in my assets, so can you give me a 20% decline in the in my electric bill? You can't do that.
Doesn't work that way,
No.
unfortunately.
So we always say, be careful. Make sure you have the right risk component for you and what you need. And as you get a little older, if it's time to start moving things to safety, feel okay doing that. You can always call us, find somebody good. Go online. You can do that as well to the Department of Insurance website. Check it out. Make sure they work and represent more than one company. You don't want just somebody that's doing 2 or 3 companies.
Well, I feel very fortunate because Russ and I can live on his retirement and my Social Security. We have plenty left over.
Yeah, that's right.
Because we're not lavish spenders. We may go out to dinner once or twice a week, but good heavens, we still have money left over.
Yes.
And because we have put everything to you, if something happens to Russ, I will have a significant monthly income for the rest of my life.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
So, and it pays to do that kind of thing. It really does.
Yeah. There are too many variables out there in life, aren't there? I mean,
There
as
are.
we're getting older, our health starts to fail, the prices of drugs go up, and some of the costs of living climb crazy when we want to maintain our independence.
Think of it like this. It's always difficult for the guys because I think we tend to be a little more on the macho and less thinking side sometimes. When up to 30 or 40 years ago, let's say the mid-70s, you had no business, I had no business if I wasn't in this industry, putting our money in the stock market. If you were a shoemaker, your goal was to buy the equipment someday so that you could be your own businessman or woman, and it was to eventually buy the building and maybe bring on your oldest child and maybe teach them the business. If you were a chicken farmer, it might be to buy another chicken farm so you could expand your... You were good at something and you knew what it was and you were better at it every single year. In the 70s, when they went to you and I and they said, hey, listen, I know you're a doctor, but why don't you take a few dollars and throw it behind you and put it in the stock market? And don't you worry, your pretty little head, we'll take care of it. And Wall Street started taking money from the teachers, from the doctors, from the police officers, from the engineers,
Right.
and putting those dollars. And you didn't know what you were doing because it wasn't your field. The only people that ever invested in the market for the last 200 years minus 30 were the people that invested in the market. That was their business. That was their job. Or you were very wealthy. You owned railroads and hotels, and you put money off to the side. But when suddenly they took the middle-class
common
worker
folk.
and they said, you put your money in the market, and we're going to use big words, and we're going to use fancy statements that are very complicated on this very thin paper that you can't even read and understand. And but don't you worry, we'll take care of everything. People said, okay. And when it worked, it worked. And then when it didn't, people said, well, I'm suing you, and I'm suing you, and I'm mad at you, and I'm mad at you. And suddenly, and so all of these brokerage companies, research it, folks. Might have been 2 weeks ago now. Another big brokerage firm, 15 million. Another one, 18 million. They write these checks like you and I give at the, give a dollar change at the coffee shop for a tip. And they write these checks when they get caught after years of investigation. I don't know. I guess it's not that much money to them. Maybe to you and I, it's a bit more. But
once again, do they go to jail?
That's right.
They
That
don't.
really bothers me.
That they don't.
We talked about it yesterday on our show about the difference between white collar crime and if you will, look, the difference, folks. White collar and blue collar. Blue collar, because that was the factory worker would have
That's
a blue
right.
shirt. It was a work shirt, and then the white was the suit and tie with the
Right.
white dress shirt. Right. That's the difference. White and blue. That's where they get it from.
That's right.
Why is it that stealing money, somebody's life savings, in fact, some cases, is less of a damage to a human being than stealing their VCR or their DVD player or whatever the fancy thing of today is? I don't know. I don't write those rules, but I just think it's
They
interesting.
get away with it. And blue collar, the simple worker, versus the white collar, the supposedly educated person knows how to get the educated lawyer to get them off the hook.
Maybe you're right. Yeah.
I think that
Sad
has
part.
a lot to do with it.
Yes.
I really do.
Yeah.
It's really amazing.
It's a system. So be careful. Protect yourself. Protect your own financial life because nobody else is going to. You have to ask the right questions. Don't be afraid of a second opinion. Don't be afraid to get. Now, if somebody walks in the door, if you go to your doctor, think of it like this. If you walk into your general practitioner doctor and you say, Doc, I've got this pain in my knee. And he says, oh, let me see it. Yep. I'm going to send you to an orthopedic specialist. And I'm going to take an x-ray and MRI, and we're going to see what that looks like. Now, if you got to the orthopedic office, and after arriving, the orthopedist spent nothing but time beating up your general practitioner doctor, you'd go, well, that's kind of weird. This guy's a specialist here, and this lady's a specialist there. Why are they hating each other? What's the problem? Well, that seems to be our industry. If you walk into your financial advisor, stockbroker, and their job is to do everything. Okay, what are you good at then? You can't be good at everything. Nobody is good at everything. Give me a product or a field or a specialty you're good in. And then don't beat up the guy who's better at another area than you are. You wouldn't want your cardiologist to beat up your orthopedic surgeon, verbally beat him. Oh, they're no good. Everybody should work together because you're the client.
That's right. But
And
that
that's a
doesn't
test.
happen.
That's the way the system
Not
is.
always.
No,
I'm
it
better
doesn't
than him
always
or her.
happen.
Yes,
Why is that? Egos,
I think so.
something like that.
Egos and
Well,
money.
That's right.
Yes, money, money, money. Well, Arif, it's been a pleasure having you.
Yep.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And seems like it's going to be a long time before we see you again.
I know. Another
Really?
2 weeks, 3 weeks. Are we going to be here next month, I think?
Yes, yes, yes.
But just in case people are wondering about their own investments, a phone number that they can get a hold of
Oh,
you?
thank you. Yeah, we handle retirement accounts that are safer, if you will. And our objective is to do that. You can give us a call at 753-9683. 753-9683.
Great, Air. Appreciate you being on the show again.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Always super information to help caution our seniors about moving through life.
Yes, my pleasure.
Great, great. I'm Dr. Gene Dorio with my co-host Barbara Cochran on your hometown station KHTS.
You did it.
Doing right starts right here. At Union Bank, community banking is at the heart of what we do. From giving customers more convenient access to their money to financing their homes here in the neighborhood. Union Bank believes in acting locally. We also believe that investing in local businesses helps everyone. For over 150 years, Union Bank has grown strong one community at a time. We live here, we do business here, and we're here for you. Stop by your local branch today to experience the strength of community banking. There are 3 Union Bank branches conveniently located in the Santa Clarita and Antelope Valley area. To find your nearest branch, visit unionbank.com. Loan subject to credit and collateral approval. Financing available for collateral located in California, Oregon, and Washington. Fees and restrictions may apply. Terms and conditions subject to change. MUFG Union Bank N.A. member FDIC equal housing lender. Union Bank is a registered trademark and brand name of MUFG Union Bank N.A.
Pumpkins are back in Santa Clarita, just a short ride up Bouquet Canyon. Introducing the Gilchrist Farm Harvest Festival and Pumpkin Patch with pumpkins, pumpkins, and more pumpkins. Open from 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. daily in October, the festival is full of pony rides, farm animals, live entertainment, farm crafts, and pig races. Book your professional photo session in the Pumpkin Patch. Learn how to milk a goat, gather eggs, and best of all, pick your perfect Halloween pumpkin. Nostalgia's returned to Santa Clarita. It's now at Gilchrist Farm. GilchristFarm.com.
Olive Terrace Bar and Grill is the Mediterranean fusion restaurant in Santa Clarita. This Friday and Saturday, dine with the live musical styling of Lenny Dedman. Enjoy the old standards along with a mix of jazz and Latin music from the world-renowned musician as you dine on fresh seafood, mouth-watering prime steaks, artisan sandwiches, delicious pastas, and tasty kebabs. In Valencia on Copper Hill and Newhall Ranch Road by LA Fitness. Olive Terrace Bar and Grill. Delicious food seasoned with love.
At Advanced Audiology, we know how important hearing is to you, your loved ones, your work success, your safety, and your ability to stay in the game. Most people won't admit hearing loss to themselves or others. We make it easy for you. Today's digital hearing aids come in a variety of styles, including invisible. All feature-rich, providing unparalleled hearing quality, wearing comfort, and automation that simplifies your life. Don't be fooled by our imitators. There's only one Advanced Audiology with the purple sign next to AAA on Valencia Boulevard.
She's the KHTS Radio Country Showdown winner, Savannah Burrows.
Knock, knock on the door to my heart. Your style just makes me fall apart. You and me, I wanna be in your arms only.
Watch 16-year-old sensation Savannah Burrows perform her original music at College of the Canyon's Canyon Country campus as they celebrate their 10th anniversary open house on Saturday, October 14th at 11:30 a.m. Join Savannah and COC as they celebrate 10 years in Canyon Country. Admission is free. The open house is on from 10 to 2 Saturday, October 14th. Our local Country Showdown winner performs at 11:30 a.m. Savannah Burrows, singer, songwriter, and just 16 years old. Re-experience how she wowed an audience of over 12,000 concertgoers at Santa Clarita's Concerts in the Park last July, and now be part of the excitement at College of the Canyon's Canyon Country 10-year celebration. Saturday, October 14th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Knock, knock on the door to my
Daily Imprints is the premier one-stop shop for custom embroidery, screen printing, and promotional products in the Santa Clarita Valley. Owners Joe and Dana have provided KHTS with quality embroidered company shirts for over 3 years. If it's new business cards or promotional products you need to enhance your image, Daily Imprints is the choice for you. Located on Lyons Avenue, stop by or call today, 661-678-0508.
Hometown.
Traffic report, simple news, weather, and lots of music.
They pretty much play everything.
Your hometown station.
Will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64?
Welcome back to the Senior Hour. I'm Dr. Gene Dorio with my co-host Barbara Cochran on your hometown station KHTS. We're joined by Kim Wahl, but I just want to bring up before we bring Kim on that we have a lecture at the Senior Center tomorrow. It's a part of the Empowering Senior Women Workshop Series, and it starts at 2 o'clock, and it's for widows, those widows who are trying to cope with life. And, you know, it's not only, it's the psychologic side of it, it's the physical side of it. All of that involves women who have experienced a loss. Dr. Terry Crane will be speaking at 2 o'clock at the Senior Center. So you're invited. It's Empowering Women, Senior Women, and it's sponsored and granted by Zonta.
That's right.
Barbara's organization. So
Yes.
please, if you have the opportunity, you can find yourself there emotionally, because Dr. Crane will be so helpful to get you through your emotional ordeal. That's at 2 o'clock tomorrow at the Senior Center. So Kim, welcome back to the show.
Hi, guys. How are ya? Good
And
to see
you know,
you.
we've had lots of discussions before on and being advocates for our seniors and minimizing the treatments that are out there right now, some of the outrageous treatments, especially related to cancer, that people receive. And, you know, it makes them sick sometimes. And certainly we're trying to treat a rapidly evolving illness with something that's going to kill it. So we essentially try to poison it, but we're also poisoning the patient, aren't we?
We're poisoning the field. We're poisoning the garden. We sure are. And I was just telling you before we came on the air, I was listening to The Truth About Cancer live last weekend, and it was so interesting to listen to all these different doctors and people that have survived cancers and just different people across the whole spectrum telling their testimonies. And what came to me when I would watch this is how many people don't know any of this information, to the point where, like these people were saying when the doctor said that what you eat has no effect on your cancer. Well, how can that be? And then to listen to the biggest component, kind of the theme that came across the whole weekend is how much doctors, or let's say our medical industry, focuses on the physically treating the person, burning, cutting, poisoning the person, but we never look at the emotional component. And Dr. Frank King actually spoke at the symposium this last weekend, and he is the gentleman who is the founder of King Bio. Yes. And it was so awesome to hear him talk about it and the way he described it. And that's what kind of gets my passion going about homeopathy, is because it's so unique and so powerful and so safe. The way he described it is, it's kind of looking like at a deck of cards. So we have all those biochemical agents out in our world, chemotherapy, foods, poisons, pills, antibiotics, anything that's biochemical, even our food, because we eat it, our body breaks it down and uses those chemicals or that light energy to feed our cells. Well, what we look at in homeopathy is we look at the red cards, the bioenergetic part of the body. Because as he was saying, it's his little funny joke, if I was to bring a corpse in here, it has all the biochemical makeup of a human being, but it's not alive. Why? Because the bioenergetic is missing. And with homeopathy, because that is a bioenergetic, a corrective medicine, if you have an imbalance, maybe you're not methylizing your toxins well, or maybe your kidneys aren't working well. Well, we can bring something in that's bioenergetic that goes to those cells and says, hey, cells, this is what we're supposed to do. Hey, cells, see that toxin over there? We need to get rid of it. Hey, cells, we're not going to let that back in our system because it's going to allow the body to kind of reboot. As Dr. King says, it fills the holes in our wholeness. But we never, ever hear, or if we do, it's so limited, is the emotional support during cancer or any kind of health issue, Alzheimer's or anything, or even the Western doctor's attitude kind of towards things, like you were saying, there's not a lot of support. And with our seniors today, if you think about their world experience, they've experienced they can't even fathom that's truly happened in their lifetimes. But one of the things that's been ripped out, like you said, that rug that's been ripped out, our common core, is the connection in our communities, the connection with our neighbors or churches and things like that, that's supporting the emotional health. So if somebody, in this case, as I was telling you guys the story about this young man who had colon cancer at 26, and when he went, the doctor bullied him, you better do this, you'll be dead in 6 months. All his friends, all his coworkers, his family, everybody but his mother said, I will support you whatever your choice is, because it's your life. Ultimately, it's your death. Be it today, be it in 100 years from now, it is part of our ownership. Well, needless to say, this young man at 26 didn't do any of the Western. He went and had the tumor removed, and he changed his diet, and he looked at what he ate and what his mental toxicity was in his life. And when he was giving this testimony up on stage, he's 37, so he's definitely outlived it. But the difference was, like you said, Dr. Dorio, he healed the soul. He healed the dirt. Everything comes out of the mind. If we think negative thoughts, our body's going to follow that, because we're telling our cells what to do. As hard as it is, I watched this great motivational thing on the first thing you can do just to be a positive, gratitude in your day. You get up in the morning, make your bed. Start the day with the motivation, I'm going to live whatever this life is, whatever that journey might be. And that's kind of one of those things that you think about, the little things that set you on your path throughout that day.
Well, interestingly enough, Russ and I went to see Dr. Black yesterday, and I am now 5 years free.
Congratulations.
5 years free.
And how much wisdom have you gotten in those last 5 years,
Oh, my
Barb?
goodness.
Yeah.
Well, next Monday I will be 81. 5 years free. And, going to the emotional part of it, when I was going through my bout with cancer, I had so much support from my friends, especially my Zonta friends. They would bring food over for us. I didn't have to cook a meal.
That's so
Not
awesome.
a meal. And it was wonderful, absolutely wonderful. My neighbors did the same thing. And, of course, Russ was always there for me. But it was incredible. It really was. And so many people do not have that.
No.
They really don't.
How do we give it to them? How do we can give them drugs, we can do homeopathic, we can do all this stuff, but how do we get our seniors who are at home listening to us right now, who might see only one person in the day and talk with only one person in the day? How do we engage them to be out there? We can have them go to the senior center, have them go to church. We can have them go to places where they can learn crochet or do some artwork. We can get them involved in the community. And I would say probably 10 to 20% of my patients who I have tried to get them to do something have acknowledged that and moved forward. The rest of them don't. So how do we do that, Kim? That is
You
a
know,
challenge
and
for
you know
our
what?
society.
And it's really interesting because when you look at homeopathic remedies, there's actually modalities that describe that. One of the homeopathic remedies that I took back in the day for me was a remedy called sepia. And when you look at the sepia, it's made from the ink of a cuttlefish is what it's made from. It's made from squid ink. And if you look at what sepia's mental components are, it's a big female remedy. And what it is it's a female remedy where women are kind of just burnt out. They're just tired of their family. They love their family as long as they're all in the other room. They don't want to be a part of things anymore. They're depressed. And it's interesting because when I was at the wellness center and I was doing flower therapy along with my homeopathics, that remedy was one of those remedies that you could just see a lady just turn around and go, oh, wait a minute, like, oh, okay, I get it. Oh, wow. It's almost like there's such a disconnect. With me, my first remedy was pulsatilla for my cancer many years ago, and it had to do with abandonment. And it's interesting what our body brings to the surface to heal. What do we do with that message? You know, it's interesting. I was reading this article about this lady whose little boy was had a vaccine at 8 months of age. He's 10 years old now. She has 3 other children. She's going in and seeing an integrative doctor because she has an autoimmune disease. And she fell in love with this guy and whatever. So she's working with him. He does a workup on this 10-year-old little boy. And this little boy's pretty healthy, normal little boy. He has some intestinal problems, stomach aches and problems with his intestinal tract. And a few days later, she gets a phone call from the doctor to come into his office. And he says to her that when he looked at this child's blood work, that this child, if he wouldn't have met this child, he would have said that this child is severely autistic. And he's on the autistic spectrum. Now, why did he not manifest those symptoms? Because the big thing right now that everybody's talking about in medicine is epigenetics. We all got the cells inside of us, but what turns those cells on or what turns them off? So in this case, this mother, when she read about vaccines, when this little boy, because she didn't want to do it and she was bullied into it by the nurse and the doctor, and she read it, she educated herself, she did nothing else after that for any of her children. But what she also did, like you, Barb, in that journey is she looked at the food she was feeding. She was looking at exercise and sunshine and television, electromagnetic frequencies, all these things that plug in, that fabric softener, all these chemicals were adding to these children. So why, exactly, why do you don't develop Alzheimer's and this person does? Because those cells are there and the epigenetics, you're turning that on in a negative expression through the fact of our foods. And that's why people need to take their dollar and make it count. Make our government tell us, where does our food come from? Make our government tell us who or where is this processed and manufactured? Because I don't want food that's been manufactured in another country and shipped back over to me. Why can't we do this in America? Why can't we have ownership? Well, first off, what we need to do is we need to unplug from the big pharmaceutical man, because the big pharmaceutical man has his hands in a lot of things and he wants customers. So when we can take something as simple as, like you said, the senior center, or maybe you walk in your little community and there's 3 other ladies that you know. So once a week y'all get together and you have a potluck, or you go to the senior center, take advantage of those things. The library, I would love to be able to see something where we incorporated seniors with the preschoolers. Getting that.
And they have here the library reading and
perfect.
Everything. But there could be a lot more.
There could be,
related to computers, for instance.
College
Seniors
of the
need
Canyon.
help.
How many students there are studying psychology and development and all these things? How about an outreach program? How about going out into the community and is something, like you said, as simple, Barb, as a meal?
That's right.
Something as simple as bringing, because a lot of times these seniors, because of that isolation and everything, they're not even getting regular meals. And sometimes the meals they are getting are very poor quality. Again, so we're going to express a certain epigenetics because our food has been compromised and we're not out in the sun anymore and we're not walking. Even it's a simple walk around the block. The movement's what keeps the toxicity, both mentally and emotionally and physically, moving. And it was so awesome to hear these guys at this conference, all of them bringing up that whole emotional component. And it can be as simple as you said, just reaching out to one other person and saying, oh my gosh, I've been there. Do you know how hard it was when I went through cancer? This is what I did and it really helped me. Well, no one's ever told me that. And sometimes those little, as I call them, those God moments happen. But are we bold enough in the moment to say, or if you're sitting at the cancer ward at the hospital and you see the lady across the way, make contact, say hi. You know, you're at whatever it might be. And you're right, Dr. Dorio. Unfortunately, I think part of the degeneration of our culture is we've become so disconnected that we don't even know sometimes who our neighbor is.
And we have to reconnect, don't we?
Yes.
Well, that's true, but television has caused that. Cell phones.
Cell phones.
Everywhere you go, you see the kids walking around.
Or
like
they're
this.
or they're all
And
at the
not
restaurant and they're all at the table doing
Yes.
this.
When we as a family, and we've got quite a group, when we go out for dinner, I tell them right there, don't let me see that cell phone. If you do, it's mine.
Because not only is it our generation, Barb, but their generation.
Oh, yes.
That aren't
I know.
understanding how to communicate or express themselves. And why? Because they're not having that face-to-face to look in your eyes and go, oh, she's only kidding.
That's
or is
right.
that text meaning she's really mad at me? I don't know. Now I'm offended and now I've got bad feelings. I'm going to walk around the rest of the day and my day's messed up because Barb sent me an emoji I didn't like.
That's right. But, you know, parents nowadays kind of feel like, oh, good, he's busy.
But
He
even
doesn't have
grandparents,
to
Barb,
worry. I agree.
even
You're right.
grandparents.
Grandparents are right.
Grandparents are still feeding the whole thing. So these seniors out there.
Not this grandparent.
Not this grandma.
Not this great grandmother either.
Nope, not this
Absolutely.
grandma. Nope. And that's the whole thing.
Absolutely
You know,
not.
bring back the rawness of a book or cards or dominoes.
Or talk.
That's it.
Talk.
Engage.
Exactly.
That's
Ask
right.
them.
Tell me what's happening. What's your day like?
Yeah.
What
And
did
it
you learn
works.
in school? You
It
know,
works.
all those
It's
kinds
a
of
very
things.
important tool that I think is not used as often as it needs to be.
Oh, I agree with you.
And
It
be
is.
okay to be different. It'd be okay to be on the two sides of a coin. That's okay. Explain to me why it's important for you, and I'll explain to you why it's important to me. You
Right.
know, I'm an advocate and I'm passionate about this stuff because it breaks my heart to see these seniors in the situations they are in these homes. It breaks my heart to see our schools overridden with children that cannot sit and focus.
That's right. That's
Wake
right.
up, people. I want to say I want to live to be 120 and know my name.
Yeah.
That's my goal.
I'm already having that problem.
Well, I have it also, but still, you know, I think to myself, gee, I forgot all about that. And then I think, okay, Barbara, you're not 16 anymore. You're not 32 anymore.
And that's part of it, not beating yourself up. Create tools to help you with whatever stage, if it is writing a note or a Post-it or in your
That's right,
phone.
or forgetting something.
Sure.
And that's what I tell myself. Hey, you know, you're getting older.
But
and
it's
that
so,
kind of thing
it's
happens.
so funny if our listeners are listening, but the television is on, so this is being recorded, so you can look at the TV screen and you can see that Barbara and I, both being left-handed, but if you look at us, we have sheets of paper and both of us write notes like crazy. This is what we do
Yes.
as those reminders to make sure we don't have the
Yes.
glitch in our brain. Those
Well,
neurons
and you
keep
want,
going.
And like you said, sometimes that is how you take it in. It's a physical. It was interesting listening to this thing talking about exercise and how if you exercise and listen to music or exercise and listen to books on tape, because you're doing two things at the same time in the brain, it's making better connections. It's making those memories stick better. And my girlfriend who lives in Tennessee, we were talking the other day about these music programs they're coming up with for seniors. And they program these iPods or whatever they're using for them to their music genre, and when they no speaking, no movement, they put the music on them and all of a sudden they're singing because it connects in their brain. My mother-in-law's a perfect example. She had a stroke almost 10 years ago. No language whatsoever. The no is about all we get. But you hand her a telephone and she can talk to you.
Isn't that something?
It's amazing what the
that
brain and the
is
body can do.
That is
So if we can just do
amazing.
little simple things, organic, fresh water, sunshine, laughter, whatever that might be, then we're going to be able to keep those brain neurons.
Absolutely.
Happy and healthy.
Yes. And we need to take a break. We are speaking with Kim Wahl, an alternative medicine advocate. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station, KHTS.
Healthcare can be difficult if you're underinsured or have Medi-Cal. Samuel Dixon Family Health Center can help. Services are available on a sliding fee schedule. The mission of the Samuel Dixon Family Health Center is to give the Santa Clarita Valley access to affordable, quality primary care. There are 3 locations to serve you: Canyon Country, Newhall, and Valverde. Go to sdfhc.org for more information and to find the location most convenient for you.
I've been into cars ever since I was 6 years old. I helped my dad build race cars in our driveway.
Dave Reeves, owner of Reeves Complete Auto Center.
I love cars. I've been in automotive service my whole life. I ran my dad's wrecking yard and rearing shop, managed several auto repairs until I opened my own auto repair facility.
Reeves, on Ruther in Canyon Country.
I learned customer service and honest communication make the difference.
Reeves, your complete auto service center.
Call Reeves at 252-1400.
It's summertime, and that means summertime specials at Flamin' Skewers. Like large chicken shawarma salads, healthy, fresh, authentic, you gotta try it. Or try our sandwich combo, any sandwich paired with a salad, rice, or fries. Flamin' Skewers offers an excellent selection of tasty cuisine at reasonable prices. Visit our newest location in Granary Square, Valencia on McBean Parkway. Order online at flaminskewers.com or come in. Flamin' Skewers, healthy, fresh Mediterranean food at its best.
This is a Rita's Daybreak. There's a huge crowd at Rita's. With so many amazing flavors, every day's a treat. Let's see what folks are celebrating.
I lost my first tooth. No more training wheels. My dog photo got 37 likes.
3 kids, 3 activities, 0 meltdowns. There you have it. Layer it, blend it, or drink it with Italian ice and creamy custard. So many reasons to celebrate at Rita's. This has been a Rita's Daybreak.
Discover Verano at Aliento, a 55-plus community with exclusive resort-style amenities designed just for you. Join us as we celebrate the grand opening of the new club at Verano on Saturday, October 21st from 1 to 5. Come party at the new clubhouse and see our model homes. We'll have music by the pool, refreshments, and more. From the 14, exit Golden Valley Road. Aliento is located off Golden Valley Road in Oak Crest. See you there.
At Advanced Audiology, we know how important hearing is to you, your loved ones, your work success, your safety, and your ability to stay in the game. Most people won't admit hearing loss to themselves or others. We make it easy for you. Today's digital hearing aids come in a variety of styles, including invisible. All feature-rich, providing unparalleled hearing quality, wearing comfort, and automation that simplifies your life. Don't be fooled by our imitators. There's only one Advanced Audiology with the purple sign next to AAA on Valencia Boulevard.
Hometown, your hometown station.
Will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64?
Welcome back to the Senior Hour. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station, KHTS. And we're speaking with Kim Wahl. She is an alternative medicine advocate. And we were talking about keeping busy as seniors during the break. And, you know, I love to do puzzles. Not word puzzles, but picture puzzles. I love it. Just love it. I'll put up the card table and put everything out, and then I'll pull away all of the edges, all of the side pieces, and then put the sides in. And then, because my mother always said to me, look in one area first. Find all the colors that pertain to that area or the faces. And that's how she taught me.
And how to entertain yourself.
Absolutely.
You don't have to have an external device training you to do something. As we were talking off the break with my granddaughter, there's nothing wrong with putting a child or a senior or anybody in an environment and just let them experience the environment, no matter what that might be. Even if it's just sitting and watching, you know, as a senior, sitting and watching the kids at the park do the funniest darn things you've ever seen, or listen to the words that come out of their mouth because they're so uncensored, and just laugh, because laughter, again, is a critical part of joy, which is a critical part of well-being.
That's true. You know, every morning I try to go outside in the backyard and read the newspaper, because the kitties come out with me. And you can hear, I have 2 bird feeders in the backyard, and you can hear the birds. I mean, it's incredible. The sound that comes from those birds.
If we quiet ourselves and just listen, Barb. Because most people don't quiet themselves to listen.
It's amazing.
I have the same thing at my house, and I just love it sometimes. And they're so noisy because I throw my scrap chicken feed out on this one part of my yard, and sometimes there's got to be 200 birds up in that tree, like singing away, like she's gonna feed us.
But last night we were at College of the Canyons, right off the freeway, and you can hear the roar of the freeway. but in the background was a hoot, hoot.
That's
And
right.
I said to Robin,
You can
you
connect.
hear that owl? And we
Yes.
waited and waited
Yes.
several times, and we heard the owl, hoot, hoot.
Yep.
It stands out.
Yeah.
Stands
If we
out.
quiet ourselves and listen. And that's the whole
Absolutely.
thing. Unplug from the rat race drug. Quiet yourself. Heal yourself.
Be
and
engaged.
Be engaged.
Be adventurous.
That's right.
Take the
Thanks,
s-
guys.
Take the step forward. We appreciate it.
Hey,
Yes.
anytime.
Kim Wahl, thanks
Enjoyed
again for
it.
being on the show.
Love it.
It's always enlightening.
And thank you
and
for
an
the
adventure
book.
for us.
Yes.
Yes, and thank you for the book.
You're most welcome.
Marijuana Goes Main Street. Special Time Magazine edition.
Educate yourself, people. Let's make a difference in
Yes.
our world. Let's get the medicine we
Absolutely.
want and throw out the junk that's killing people.
Absolutely. We are sponsored by Advanced Audiology and Comfort Keepers in Home Care. Listen to us next week on the Senior Hour. Now go and enhance your quality of life.